Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to get right into the weekly reading for Capricorn, but before we do that, I want to let you all know that I'm giving away a Christmas gift to one of my lucky subscribers, the Spirit Animal Oracle deck by Colette Baron Reed, a 68 card deck with the guidebook. It's a beautiful deck, and I did do an unboxing video the other day for this deck, and that will be linked at the description, into the top of the description. And if you want to be in the running for this deck, all you have to do is be a subscriber on my channel and leave me a comment in any of the videos that you're watching to let me know that you are interested in receiving the deck. Only because I want to make sure that I give it to someone who actually would like to have it, okay? All right, guys. So let's get right into it, Capricorn. This is your weekly. This is going to cover December 1st to the 7th. And yeah, Capricorns, you've been having some interesting readings lately. Definitely a lot of changes in career. A lot of you are getting spiritual blessings, right, Capricorns? A lot of you who have been really working perhaps in business and finances, working hard in your careers. This year is going to be a lot of spiritual awakening for a lot of you. So let's get right into your animal spirits, and then we'll, your romance angel messages, and then we'll pull out your animal spirits, and then we'll get into your traditional spread. So we have Unrequited Love. It's your first card. Let's move this up just a bit. And we have Love Yourself First. Let's move this over. And we have Flirt. I love it when flirt comes up because it means that there's going to be some lighthearted fun, you know, enjoy yourself. And really that is the best thing when we're dealing with relationships. So let's get right into your animal spirits and see what kind of animal spirits you're walking with this week. And of course, I'm giving away an animal spirit deck because I do love working with animal spirits. I think it's a really nice way to get into reading cards and understanding the nature of sort of just using cards for yourself, for your own clarification. And animal spirits are something that we can all kind of relate to, right? There's a little bit of each sort of spirit in us, right? So let's see, Capricorn, what your 3 animal spirits are for the week. And of course, just take what applies to you and disregard the rest, all right? If it doesn't apply, let it fly. All right, we have the spider, earth energy associated with Dharma. We have the dragon, really very nice, associated with the solar plexus. And the cheetah. Now, the cheetah has been showing up for a lot of my readings in Capricorn. I'm not surprised to see it here for you today. But let's go ahead and get into all of these. First of all, the spider. Spider is an earth elemental. And the spider is really representative of living a life of Dharma. Now, what is Dharma? Dharma is when we live our life very intentionally according to our spiritual code, right? So someone who is who's living their life in Dharma is someone who, you know, everything that they do, you know, every move that they make, every decision they make it in consultation with their inner sort of ethics or their inner moral center or their inner sort of spiritual code that they have, right? They're very intentional about the things they do. This may be someone who is always very charitable, and they seek, for instance, someone who in every transaction, in every sort of way, they seek to be sort of charitable, let's say, right? This is Dharma. This is somebody who is always exercising Dharma. If this is part of their spiritual belief or their moral center. And so what happens is that an animal like a spider, if every single step that they make in life is according to the same sort of internal, spiritual, or ethical or moral code, you begin to see this web because it's a pattern. Right? When you are living a life of Dharma, you can create this beautiful pattern of decisions and steps that you make in your life that are all sort of in tune because they are all tuned to the same spiritual code that you have, right? And so in this way, the spider represents someone who provides a very strong financial and spiritual environment for themselves and for their families because they live a life of Dharma, and so they really lead by example, and the environment that they create around them is very, very strong in that way, right? The dragon is ether elemental. So here we have, of course, a mythical beast. And so this is associated with the the third chakra, which is the solar plexus, right? The solar plexus. We have the root chakra. Then we have the chakra that is in a sort of sacral bowl, we call it, which is associated with our passions, our sexual energy, our reproductive organs. And then we have the third chakra, which is associated with our solar plexus. And our solar plexus it's interesting. Of course, the dragon is representative there because the solar plexus is kind of the winds. It's like our winds. It's the area in our body that supports the rib cage and supports the lungs, etc. So it's the breath that we take. And it is our breath that sort of keeps us alive, right? And so in this way, it's sort of the fire breath of the dragon that takes us out into the world. This is why the dragon is associated with this chakra. And the eye is ever watchful. And because the thing is, the eye is ever watchful because it is through our intention in our life. It's the way we carry ourselves. And these two cards are very sort of compatible because it's the way we carry ourselves in our life and how we go forward, right? The essence of our drive in life, which could be associated with that fire breath of the solar plexus, right? That drives us forward, that breathes life into our into any situation and into us, right? The dragon is ever watching to make sure that these actions we take are in line with who we are, so that they are in fact in Dharma, that we are walking with Dharma, as it were. That we are being true to ourselves, right? So the eye is always open, the eye is always watching in that way. And the dragon eye is symbolic of sort of our higher self, you know, our higher spiritual self, always, you know, that is tethered to us, right? But we, you know, part of the spiritual work that a lot of us do is we seek to strengthen that tether and make it grow so that we are more and more and more in touch with our higher self, right? Our spiritual selves. Well, with the dragon, it is our spiritual self that comes in and that keeps an eye on us. It can also be associated with that intuitive voice in the back of our head that tells us when we are doing something we know we're going to regret, or we are doing something that gives us a little bit of an icky feeling or a strange feeling because our higher selves are letting us know we're watching and this isn't who you are, right? So this is a very, very special animal spirit indeed. And I took a moment to describe this because this animal spirit is associated with a chakra. And there are only 7 of those spirits associated with the 7 chakras. And they are all either mythical animals or mystical objects. Now we have the cheetah, which is fire energy. The cheetah's been coming out all over the place. Those of you who have been cross-watching, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Cheetah energy is very, very strong. This is strong, sort of masculine, forward-moving energy. It's associated with the sun. And really, it's almost as if the cheetah is embodying the energy of the sun within him. The cheetah's sort of purpose is unmatched. It is his sense of purpose in life that will absolutely not allow the cheetah to slow down. These are individuals who really accomplish incredible feats, incredible tasks. They overcome huge sort of obstacles. A cheetah would be, now we have cheetah individuals around us every day. And a lot of my collective are resonating obviously with this energy because this card is coming up a lot for my readings this week and for the last few weeks. But an example of a cheetah perhaps in the mainstream might be someone that you see a story or someone very famous, for instance, who is, who has accomplished some kind of amazing sort of intellectual feat or physical feat despite perhaps maybe having a handicap. Or someone who has really sort of picked, Oprah Winfrey is an example. I hate to use that, but that's, someone who has come sort of from nothing and made like all this incredible. But even better than that, it's someone who has absolutely achieved something that nobody thought would be possible. This is the level of achievement that a cheetah is at. These are people who are always sort of ready. They're always going. They're very optimistic. They're very ambitious, but it's not in a sort of overbearing way. This is just, they have a sense of purpose in their lives and they're not going to be slowed down by it. They're absolutely awe-inspiring as well. If you're around somebody like this, it can really feel like you're around some, you know, even if they aren't famous, it can feel like you're around somebody famous or somebody, you know what I mean? It's just really incredible to watch somebody who's resonating with this kind of energy. All right, guys, let's get right into it. We're going to pull out anywhere from 4 to 6 3-card spreads for you, Capricorn. And my regulars know that these spreads are just little forecasts of particular dynamics or situations or events that any of you Capricorns may or may not be going through this week. So again, we know this reading can't be for everyone. So just take what applies to you, my lovely Capricorn, and ignore the rest. Now, sometimes these energies can, of course, be vice versa, and that's really up to you. I read them the way I see them, but if you feel it vice versa, that's fine too. All right? So let's get right into it. We have Ace of Swords, Emperor, and 4 of Pentacles. I'm not reading reversals. All right, so Ace of Swords, Emperor, and 4 of Pentacles. Wow, you come into this week, some of you absolutely with a sense of accomplishment and victory, certainly resonating with cheetah energy, I'd say. Ace of Swords comes in at a time when you're feeling really sort of like fresh in your head, right? You're feeling very clear and fresh. Answers are coming to you. You're thinking up solutions. You know, you're feeling very productive mentally. You're communicating very well. This could be a time of really getting new ideas, of inspiration coming in. And you're feeling this week, you're coming in this way, Capricorn. Now you're met with Emperor energy. And it could be, I think for some of you, you're coming into this week and you're going to have an idea about something in particular and you're going to be having a meeting with someone. This could be a benefactor or somebody that you know that you do business with. This could be a partner in terms of if you are in a company with a partner or if you are in a creative adventure with a partner. But in any case, this is someone who certainly has a position of authority. This could be the person who you have to talk to in order to give the idea a go-ahead. This may be the one who has control over the money strings or the purse strings, or even just someone who is in charge of the decision whether or not your idea sort of gets taken up. So you have this great idea. I think for some of you, this could certainly be a case of meeting with someone or meeting with a company over an invention or a particular idea that you're trying to get off the ground, perhaps a business idea. Something really, really incredible. It is a great idea, and you are meeting with very many important people, but you round off the week with a 4 of Pentacles in a sense that you're going to be a little bit apprehensive. Is the money there? There's going to be an issue about money and whether or not, you know, there's going to be a bit of a gamble involved. I believe there's going to be a bit of risk involved. So you're going to round off the week very much thinking about the stability of the finances, whether you have them to go with whatever comes out of this meeting, or if you're prepared to deal with perhaps the threat to your finances as a result of moving forward. 4 is the number for stability, and with 4 of Pentacles, we see somebody who is trying to hold on to their stability, trying to maintain their financial stability, either because they feel it is being threatened or they feel as though they're about to lose it. And so from 4 of Pentacles, sometimes we can get people who are very greedy or miserly. You could be dealing with somebody who's not willing to pay, you know, who's not willing to spend the right amount of money to get the idea off the ground, right? Or you could be dealing with sort of anxiety yourself. But that is the essence of the card. And those of you who are going through this, you'll know for yourself how this 4 of Pentacles is relating to you in a sense of whether it is really a real sort of worry, or if you're just sort of having anxiety, or if this is the way somebody else is kind of reacting in terms of their ability to invest. Now we have Queen of Swords, more swords energy. We have 9 of Cups, and we have 6 of Swords. So Queen of Swords comes into the week. You walk into this week very much like deciding enough is enough in terms of there may be a particular situation that you have been in. I'm going to say this is definitely a relationship, okay? Some of you are coming in this week, you've had enough of a particular relationship and you're about to leave it. And I think what's at the issue here is that for some of you, you're really tired of being someone that you're not. Dragon energy is at play in the sense that some of you have been in a relationship with somebody where you've really you haven't felt like you've been allowed to be yourself, or you may have been pressured to fit a certain stereotype or a mold, or you may have had just your own sort of, feelings of wanting to do that, of wanting to sort of like, be the perfect girlfriend or be the perfect boyfriend. Remember, my readings are never gender specific or sexual orientation specific, okay? This is for anyone who is in a relationship, period. But the Queen of Swords is the queen who knows who she is. She's done the really hard work of being very honest. She's also the person who's learned how to sort of really find who she is, find her own identity, and really let that out, right? She's not afraid to be who she is. She's not afraid to sort of like let the true personality and character and her true self kind of come out. And so when I say done the hard work of learning how to be honest, it's being honest with herself, and not trying to fit a mold, right? Not trying to fit into some kind of role or some kind of mold that somebody else may have, or to live up to other people's expectations, right? So it's quite interesting because you've come into this week with this kind of attitude of this feeling, right? And you have this 9 of Cups, and it's like, it's almost as if you say to somebody, it's like, look, I'm kind of like happy with my blessings. I'm happy being on my own. I'm kind of loving myself first right now. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, this is who I am. 9 of Cups is a blessing card, right? It's a card of happiness and blessings. But in the 9 of Cups, as we see with all the 9 cards, there is a feeling of the hermit and a feeling of being alone. And still that deeper connection that resonates this individual, this character on this card, up to a 10 of Cups is indeed that really long-term, deeper connection with someone else, that soulmate connection. However, 9 of Cups does talk about having a lot of blessings and a lot of rewards in life and being very happy and content, right? It is the card of contentment and happiness. And I think for a lot of you this week, you come into this kind of energy of Queen of Swords, like I said, Capricorn, in the sense that you're really happy to be who you are, and you come to a certain relationship and you're like, listen, I'm happy. I feel actually very, very blessed. And you know what? I think I'm going to leave this behind, and you leave. Because you round the week off with a 6 of Swords. And it's almost as if for some of you, I want to say you've been in a relationship probably up until recently, or even now, you're in a relationship that everything else in your life is going really well apart from this relationship. This relationship is the only place that you're actually really unhappy. And the reason why is because you have really sort of lost yourself in this relationship, right? And recently you've been really working on it. I think other areas of your life have been resonating up. Because remember when I said all of these blessings are beginning to come in for people in different areas in their lives, and it's helping a lot of people to heal other areas. And how I say this to mean, like, for instance, some of you Capricorns, you may have, indeed, you're very happy and contented. You may have recently really been resonating up with your career or with your family connections. You may have been doing some healing with your family, or you may have started to get rewards coming in from a business, or your creative sort of career, if you're a performer, may have started to take off, right? And all of these other blessings that are coming into your life have begun this path that you've taken towards the Queen of Swords, which is why you're entering the week with her energy. You've already, as a result of all of the hard work you've done in other areas of your life and the affirmations you're getting back from that, a lot of you have developed the strength to be more of who you are, because those are affirmations, right? That you're on the right track. So it's building your self-confidence. And it's like building your self-confidence also to now be like that in this relationship that you're in, that some of you are in, where you're saying, you know what? Maybe up until now, I felt like I had to sort of fit a certain mold or compromise myself. But, in every other area of my life, I'm starting to get affirmation that I am enough, and that I am great and that I can succeed. And you know what? I no longer want to compromise in my love life. You know what I mean? I want my love life to resonate as truly and as honestly with who I am as the rest of my life is. And all of these blessings that I have, I'll see you later. I think I'm going to move towards harmony. You round the week off with a 6 of Swords. And some of you absolutely leave a love connection that you may be in that it's unhappy, or a relationship or environment that you're in that's unhappy, because you realize you can find happiness somewhere else. Ace of Pentacles, Page of Cups, and 4 of Swords. Some of you come in this week Oh, yeah, you come in this week, you have a lot of money starting to come in, right? The Ace of Pentacles has arrived. You have a golden opportunity coming in. Some of you are being offered a new job or business or some kind of really beautiful opportunity to do with your career. However, you have a love connection with someone and you're really not sure what the next step is to take, because someone has come into you offering you a cup of love. And just at the same time that this golden opportunity has arisen, and you are really kind of at a place where you're, again, a lot of these forecasts for you this week have really been about you finding out who you are, what you really want, and loving yourself first, right? You're kind of like, you round the week off with a 4 of Swords. You're kind of like, what do I do? This is not a 2 of Swords in the sense of that you're having to choose one over the other, but you round the week off with a 4 of Swords in the sense that you are trying to lay out the strategy to handle everything, because everything has come in at once. This is an example of, again, of these unexpected blessings that are coming in December, Capricorn. And for you, some of you this week are not only getting a blessing of a golden opportunity, either at work or in business, or money coming in some kind of way, an opportunity for more money to resonate up, wealth, right? Abundance. And also a cup of love for somebody, which isn't necessarily serious just yet. It's just the beginning, a token of somebody who's letting you know they want to be with you. And now all of a sudden you're going to have to come up with a strategy or a plan for all of this because it's come out of the blue. Page of Pentacles, 9 of Wands, and 10 of Pentacles. Here we go. More blessings coming in. Some of you start off the week with a Page of Pentacles. This is a very practical meeting that happens, or a communication that comes in. This could just be the idea or the plan of a, not so much the plan, but I want to say like, this is very much like a bumping into somebody. You bump into somebody physically, you meet somebody, or somebody reaches out and speaks to you about something. There's a communication of some kind. And there's some kind of opening of dialogue with regard to a business or a financial or a career move, right? There's some kind of, somebody is, perhaps a new project is starting, but it's just the first message of that this week that begins, right? It's the inkling. And this is different than an Ace of Pentacles. This is sort of like when somebody comes into you, or when somebody is doing something, you know, you're in a very practical way. You are sort of forging a path ahead. Page of Pentacles also talks about being very practical this week, right? But I'm looking ahead to the 10 of Pentacles, and this is why I'm saying the energy that it's bringing to this position in this forecast is one of a beginning meeting, a beginning chance connection or meeting or conversation about a particular idea or option or project, right? Then you are met with the 9 of Wands in the sense that you certainly are looking back on a period of perhaps not having these opportunities coming in, or a period where you've really had to work on yourself a lot. You may have been working on a particular area in your career by yourself without the aid of anyone else, and it's been very, very difficult. This new option coming in, I want to say for some of you, is definitely an option that involves working with other people, right? Working perhaps in a project. You round the week off with a 10 of Pentacles, which is you find out by the end of the week that this is indeed exactly the offer that you've been waiting for, a perfect opportunity. You realize that, you know, it's the beginning of something that could be really, really great, right? And there's also a possibility of a love connection coming out of this meeting somewhere. You have an inkling of that also by the end of the week, because 10 of Pentacles talks about wealth coming in all areas. And for the rest of the Pentacle cards, we are definitely talking mostly about actual sort of abundance, wealth, finance, careers, etc. Also to do with health and well-being. But to resonate up to the 10 of Pentacles, we need a love connection. That is the last final ingredient that takes us up to 10 of Pentacles and brings in that aspect of having a wealth with regard to emotional wealth, a wealth with regard to having healthy relationships and healthy family ties and a healthy relationship with your spouse or your significant other. That is a form of wealth also, and that is the kind of wealth we see also coming in a very well-rounded way when we have the 10 of Pentacles, which is, of course, completion. So it's this added component of a strong love connection that I feel here. And this is why I say this beginning conversation about this sort of new idea, it really feels like when you have this conversation, it's like one of those moments like, you know what, in a few years, I'm going to look back and remember this time, because you already know all of the potential that is in this sort of new kind of, this new opening, right? And you're already this week beginning to look back on the stage that you're at now, because you can already see that in a few years you're going to really have left the stage you're at now behind. And with the added component of a possible love connection by the end of the week. Two of Swords, Eight of Wands, and Empress. This is going to be the last spread. Two of Swords, of course, talks about, again, having to make a very difficult decision. I mentioned, I believe, the card earlier in the sense that... Two of Swords is more or less, it's less about strategy, it's more about finding balance, because you're being forced to make a decision between two things in your life that are very important to you. You just can't seem to decide which one. You can't, whether it's which road to go, which plan to take, which option, what have you. So you're very sort of in two minds about it, and it is the land of indecision, but it is also an impossible situation oftentimes, because... it's like this. Oftentimes, I want to say this is a decision that's either been forced on us, or that we've taken out of some sense of guilt or obligation. And two is actually the number for duality and balance. And the lesson of the Two of Swords is that with anything in life, when we can't decide, we need to go inward and really find a balance between the two. Find a way that we can have a balance between all of the energies that we need in our life. This is also a time not to be too extreme, right? I say that because I look ahead at Eight of Wands, and this week you're met with a lot of sort of, I'm going to say you're met with a lot of information, a lot of context. Some of you are going, this is my viral card in a lot of ways. Some of you are going to be really expecting a lot of communication, a lot of attention. A lot of, suddenly the phone is going to ring off the hook for some reason, right? And you round off the week in the Empress. So I'm going to say it's really strange. It's like this is a reading for a Capricorn out there who's right on the cusp, I think, of their career taking off. And they're already coming into this week with some very important decisions because they know their career is about to take off, right? This is like, if you've ever been there, it's like, and when you're in a certain creative field, or you're a performer of some kind, or you're in anything that deals with the public, the difference between sort of being successful and taking off, that literally can be over the course of a week. You can start off the week and be fairly successful and end the week and everything is completely changed. These things can really do happen very quickly. And it's funny because you enter this week, some of you Capricorns are absolutely entering this week right on that cusp. You may have been working towards this for a while. You may have some success, and you're already beginning to you're already come into this week with a feeling of having to decide between perhaps, your career and your home life, your career and what you have now. Like, how am I going to, I'm going to have to decide between one or the other. And then this week right away, everything takes off. Boom. And now you're propelled. It's like what you were trying to decide here, you're almost not going to have time to decide that because you've already been propelled into a different sort of status. Remember, though, the decision is still there. And remember that it is about balance. So it isn't about being extreme and giving either or up. It's about finding a balance. And for some of you, if you're getting into this and you are becoming sort of more well-known, your career is taking off, remember this lesson because you round the week off with Empress energy. And the Empress is beautiful. She luxuriates in the garden of her own making. She's very intentional. And she is not there by anyone else's will. So when you learn to find balance and to take control and to make sure that people don't put decisions on you that are unfair. Don't let people force you to make unfair choices. When you're certainly if you're in suddenly if the information and everything that you're dealing with goes to this chaotic level with Eight of Wands, you absolutely have to set boundaries. 8 is the number for boundaries. You have to set boundaries and say, listen, you're my money man. I talk to you about money. You're this person. I talk to you. You know what I mean? You have everybody in their boundaries, and then with them you have boundaries. Well, you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, you have to be at the head of your ship. And and finding balance in all things is really the secret to having a very successful career. So don't allow anybody to sort of force you into an impossible decision. Turn the power dynamic around so that you are always in charge of the decisions that you're making, right? Because once somebody else gives you an ultimatum, you're no longer in charge. No matter which choice you make, you're not in charge. So the Empress, however, she's beholden to no one but the Emperor. And the Empress energy is the energy that you will come out of this week with, if you indeed follow what I'm saying here and set your boundaries with people, certainly with this Eight of Wands, and go into this Two of Swords with a third option, which is the option of balance and finding your own way that's good for you. And then, of course, you will be luxuriating. Here we have beauty on all levels. Your environment mirrors who you are on the inside. You are absolutely in control. You are receptive. You are beautiful. You are radiant. And this is how your week will end. Very cheetah energy and dragon energy. Absolutely. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed this, Capricorn. If you did, please like, subscribe, and share. Don't forget, if you'd like to be in the running to win this beautiful Spirit Animal Oracle deck from Colette Baron Reed, all you have to do is be a subscriber on my channel and let me know in a comment that you are interested in the cards, only because I do not wish to give them to anyone who's not interested in actually working with the deck. All right, guys, but for right now, Capricorn, check out your other videos. They're all in the description. My slots are filling up fast for this time of year for private readings. If you want to get a private reading, you'll have to go ahead and book that. That link is at the top of your screen. And private readings are conducted just like this, only we do that live stream via private live stream just for you and me. And then we chat on the phone during the reading, so you can have the reading for yourself as a recording later on. And you can always go back to that reading as much as you like, because that will be uploaded for you at your private address. All right, guys, so that's everything. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. But for right now, lovely Capricorn, some of you are about to make it big, and I wish you all the best. Bye-bye now.